We both hit the gritty. This is
Oh, double grit.
forget the father-son Kamehameha. This is the father-son gritty. We both hit it.
The earth just crumbles.
Hey, welcome to Video Game Podtimism. It's the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends and also Brendon Bigley talk about the wonderful
Honorary
world.
best friend for the moment.
Talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase.
And my name is David.
I am Brendon Bigley. Hello.
Yeah, hey. We've had an open invite in like this Discord channel for a long time of like, feel free to jump in here if at any point you feel so pressed to do so. But the requirement is you must be recording so that we can put it in the podcast. And Brendon somehow sensed that there would be a podcast recording somewhere and joined in.
I said state of the pod and Brendon appeared. It was wild. All of a sudden, it's just your face popped up. I was like, oh God, I summoned him.
Every week I see you guys recording in this Discord, and every week I try to resist the urge to just hop in and crash. And this week, like I literally woke up, I watched the state of play happen today. I watched the state of play. I like organized my life a little bit, did a workout, and I was like about to get up to like leave and go take my camera and like go take photos around Tokyo for the rest of the day. And as soon as I was going to close my laptop, I saw the little voice channel thing active. I was like, oh, come on. Like this is too much to give up. Yeah.
It's meant to be.
That's thrilling. Well, great. Do you have any like gaming thoughts for this space?
I think they're still pretty good, which is cool. Yeah. I was worried that in my absence they'd be bad, but it seems like it's still going pretty well, which I'm pretty happy about. I did, for those of you who are following along elsewhere, I've been trying to find a copy of Fantasy Life I for the Nintendo Switch for like a straight month because it's only being released as a physical edition in Japan. They're not releasing it anywhere else. But the thing about the Japanese version is that it has every language in there. Like they have English voice acting, they have English text, and they have every other language that they localized it in as well. So weirdly, this game that I thought was going to be this like extremely niche thing for like sickos and freaks who were like posting obsessively on Twitter circa 2012 about the first Fantasy Life for 3DS. Like I thought it was just going to be for like us. It turns out people love this game, especially in Japan.
They showed up.
Yes, they did. And it's been unbelievably difficult to find a copy of this game for the past month. And I've been in like 10 cities just about across Japan for the past month. And I'm talking like big cities, little cities. And in every single place I went, I was like, I'm going to go try and find a video game store so I can get a copy of this. Because my thought is like, okay, big cities will have a lot of inventory. Small cities, like maybe there's not as high of a demand. No matter what, sold out everywhere. And then we moved into our apartment that we're going to be in for the rest of the month today in Tokyo. And there's a mall like 5-minute walk from here. And we needed to go buy like a laundry basket because this Airbnb doesn't have a laundry basket. So we went to go buy a laundry basket. And I was like, let me just see on a whim if they have video games in this like home goods store. And they did. And they had 2 copies of Fantasy Life left.
Oh my God.
And I got one right next to the Switch 2 display that they were building.
Dang.
Yeah, I saw you were posting that like they have them in the building. Like the Switches have arrived. They're here.
Yeah. I was in Akihabara last week because I was looking for Fantasy Life. And every single store in Akihabara had like a big Switch 2 display with like the console there. And it was like the first time I'd seen it. It looks just like this one. It looks like the first one. But it's the same thing.
It's the same. Bigger.
What is your Switch 2 pre-order status to the two of you? How's it going?
Yeah, we both got lucky. Best Buy showed up for me pretty big time in my hour of need. They sent me an email today that they're like, hey, we are having a midnight launch party if you want to like go.
You got it.
I know, it's so tempting, at least for the nostalgia's sake of it all.
Just wear your swaggiest gamer outfit. Like what kind of gamer clothes do you have that you could wear there and just be the coolest guy around?
The like Assassin's Creed hoodie that you put up and zip all the way up and stuff.
That would maybe be the sketchiest gamer outfit you could wear there.
Have I ever told this story about the midnight release for Pokemon X and Y that I went to?
That I've heard. I don't know.
I went to the person I was dating at the time and we went to the midnight release of Pokemon X and Y. This is so funny. We rented a hotel room because we were like, we're just gonna like no life this game basically when it comes out. But also the two of us were in like a leather jackets and chain smoking phase. So we went to the midnight release at GameStop of Pokemon X and Y and like sat on the hood of my car across the street from where everyone was lined up for the game, just like ripping cigs. And then at midnight, just like casually walked and then joined the line of like mostly kids and went in and got our copy of X and Y. And I always think back on that as like the last midnight release I'll ever do realistically, because it was in that moment where I was like, I don't think I'm built for these anymore. And I also needed to quit cigarettes, which I did. Shout out to quitting cigarettes.
Yeah. Congrats. Yeah. That's huge. It's there was a moment, a little threshold of like, should I be here still with the midnight launches? Cause it was very fun when I was like 16, just thrilling being a child. Like I'm waiting for the Wii. This is going to be so cool.
Yeah. Oh dude, Halo. They're going to make a new Halo and I can go surround myself with other people who play Halo. The people who yell at me online, I can see in public.
Yeah.
It's like New Year's Eve, but even better.
It's a lot of people are saying this. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've been to one since like Skyrim. I think that was probably the last one that I did.
Wow.
I think I also went to the Skyrim one.
I think I did it for the PSP. I think that was the last midnight launch I did.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's like 10 people in line.
This is, I guess, pertinent for the moment you're in right now, Brenda. But David and I were like very big PSP heads when that came out.
Nice.
I think we both wanted to love it a lot more than the PSP was giving us at the time. The launch was okay, and we were both just like, it's the coolest thing ever. It's so sick. I can watch Anchorman on UMD, which was cool. But
I watched Anchorman quite often on UMD on there.
It's
on
the
road
only
trips.
one I had. So gotta watch something. But
I have to go see if they have UMDs at any of these used game stores, like for movies. I want to see like what movies I can get on UMD while I'm here. That'd be sick.
I feel like they did have some when I was there last year. Like that there was a couple of UMDs floating around.
I had quite a few UMDs. I had Napoleon Dynamite on UMD.
Wow. Yeah.
I had Kung Fu Hustle.
That's
on UMD.
That's a
Kung
pretty
Fu
good
Hustle's
one.
a good one to have on UMD.
I was a big Kung Fu Hustle head. I loved that movie. I still love that movie.
Yeah.
Good one on UMD. Looks great on the PSP screen.
They have Alien. I know that they made Alien on UMD, and I'm like,
ooh,
oh man,
I feel like that's the one that I want the most. Like that's the one.
Yeah,
but I am in this phase right now where like I feel the need to get everything in person physically. I will not order things online while I'm here. So it's gonna be tough. Like finding Fantasy Life I. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, that I can't imagine. I know you were like studying Japanese to go over there, but like I don't know if you're a master of Japanese enough to be like, hello, I'm looking for Kung Fu Hustle on UMD for the PlayStation Portable.
I've learned enough to like get by, and then obviously like having been here for a month, I picked up a lot more, which is nice.
Yeah,
but I still don't speak Japanese very well.
Yeah,
but and people are very excited about my pronunciation of things. That's the one thing that I've noticed is like I get asked if I speak Japanese a lot because my pronunciation of the words that everybody knows is apparently good.
Yeah.
So when I'm like saying thank you to people, they're like, "Oh, you speak Japanese?" I'm like, "No, I just
I got
everyone's,
that one.
Everyone's got thank you in them, and I guess mine's a little bit tweaked for excellence. I don't know.
I have to imagine that a lot of English speakers are like just trying the bare minimum of speaking Japanese and like not doing the like inflections and stuff.
Yeah, I've bore witness to a lot of people at like one of the last places we stayed before we came to Tokyo was this place called Nozawa Onsen, which is just like it's where they had the Olympic skiing in 1995 during the Nagano Olympics, like during that. So it's like a ski town generally, and then when it's not winter and then there's not snow everywhere, it's just like a place where you can hang out in. I think there's 12 public onsens, which are like just like public baths basically that are like heated by the earth, and it's just a resort town essentially. There's like 10 ryokans that you can go stay in there. We were staying in one of them, and when we were like bopping around Nozawa Onsen, I was seeing a lot of people just walk into places full on launching into English, not even like an attempt at being like konnichiwa or like anything,
just anything.
There's no there was no like ohayou gozaimasu, like none of that. It was just like, hey, can I get a smoothie? No,
aggressively speaking English to Japanese speakers.
So wild.
Which which is I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't feel good to see. So
it's the state of some people right now.
It's the state of some people right now. Okay, so you're getting the Switch.
Yes, yeah. Getting a Switch. David got lucky with your cousin.
My cousin came through. He got one, I think, also through Best Buy, but then he signed up for the lottery through Nintendo and then got that. And I was like, hey, do you want this? I'm like, yes, please. So I got very, very fortunate there.
Nice. So when does it show up?
Tomorrow.
That's
they
awesome.
said UPS just sent me an email. Yeah.
I'm so happy for you both. I'm in this like weird limbo where my co-host for NPC, Federico Vitici, locked down another Switch for me, but he's in Rome. He's in Italy, and he needs to ship it to Japan, to this apartment in Tokyo. And I have no idea how long that's going to take or what that's going to be. Like, that might take the whole time I'm here. It might show up after I leave. I don't know. But I'm hopeful that it shows up soon. We'll see.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, the Italian version of the Switch should be coming soon.
That's going to be sick.
I hope it makes it there.
Yeah. I also hope it makes it here.
It comes with a cigarette and a little espresso.
Oh my God. I would love that. I will say, you can see this, you two, because you're on video, but we'll just describe what's going on. So I'm in this apartment that I'm in has this like tatami room that I'm in with like the biggest TV.
Oh yeah, wow. Just on the ground.
Okay.
It's just on the floor, and it's gigantic. So it's like a classic like Japanese tatami room, but it just has like the biggest 4K TV in there, and I'm like dying to plug a Switch 2 into it. Like I plugged I have the ROG Ally X with me, and I'm playing a lot of Fantasy Life on that, and I plugged that in, and I was playing some Fantasy Life this morning right when I woke up, and like, man, I want to play the Switch 2 on this thing, dude. Like, Mario Kart World,
Mario Kart,
on a big ass TV, and
would be good.
Tokyo is gonna be sick.
Play some Wind Waker GameCube era on a very big television.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Don't hang out bananas in a month or two.
How are you feeling about Fantasy Life? I was going to talk about this week, so it's
I was going to ask what games you were talking about. Yeah, I'll chime in with Fantasy Life. I think it's amazing.
Sure.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah,
you're new to it, which I'm excited to hear your
totally
take
new.
on.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of the original on the 3DS. Famously, I've mentioned this many times, I could not play that game for more than 30 minutes without going to sleep. I don't know what it was like. Such a relaxing video game that it would just like put me to bed. Like, yeah, immediately. Like if I had to read any dialogue in Fantasy Life, I just would pass out immediately. Fantasy Life, the first like hour of tutorials, I was definitely feeling the pull of the Sandman, you know, like I felt like I was gonna conk out at any moment. But now that I'm like in the game, I've been messing with a bunch of lives. I think it's amazing. One thing that's interesting about it, and I'll be interested in your take as a newbie here, but like there's a lot more going on with like the main story here, in that it appears that the main story is just blocking access to like major gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
So like they're introducing you to lives and then letting you switch between the lives, and you can just like stop at a certain point and spend all your time just bouncing between lives, and that's cool. But you could also like mainline the story if you want to, which is like loose, you know. It's like there's not a whole lot going on there. But when you're done with it, from what I've heard, and I have not experienced this myself, but when you're done with it, from what I've heard, you get like a full ass Animal Crossing in this thing also. So it's like largely Zelda life sim stuff until the end. It becomes Zelda plus Animal Crossing, and that is very exciting to me.
Whoa.
It's such a bizarre combination of genres. Like in playing it again, like this is the first time I fired it up. I had no expectations about what this game was. People were just like, it's good. I'm like, okay, that's usually enough for me to check it out.
Yeah.
And so I had no clue what I was in for. And I still kind of can't make heads or tails of like, what is this video game? It's so many things. David, for your reference, and I guess, you know, this was information to me too. It's like, I think it's described as a role-playing life sim is the closest like description there. So
I'm watching a video of it right now. Visually it looks a lot like Animal Crossing, but with a lot of action.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And it's like chunked up into these different sections of like the past, the present, and also Ginormosia, which is like
Ginormosia,
baby.
That is a great name.
It's very fun.
What do you think? What do you think is the key defining aspect of Ginormosia?
You're never gonna guess.
You get one guess. One guess, buddy, you're out.
And like the past sort of operates like almost a more traditional RPG. That's also where you get like lives, which are these kind of different classes that you can pick up that allow you to do stuff. Like you can chop down a tree if you want to be a lumber guy, or a carpenter if you want to build stuff with the lumber, or a fisherman, or there's like a bunch of combat classes and stuff. I was kind of picky with which ones I was picking up at first, and I was like, I'm just going to get all of them because it seems like they kind of feed into each other a little bit of like, you know, you make one thing and then it's like this other person's like, hey, it would be cool if I had a potion. Then you're like, well, okay, I don't have the alchemy class yet, so let me go grab that. And so like that all kind of plays out like an RPG. And then the present is very much an Animal Crossing game of like, you have an island and there's a bunch of, what do they call them? Strangelings that you pick up throughout the game that like you bring them back there at some point, and they're like, it's like a cabinet that has come to life, and you bring them back to that island, and then they turn back into real people. And so that's how you get like islanders, is you just like find these strangelings. And then Ginormosia is like kind of Elden Ring in a way. Like,
oh my God,
is this huge place, obviously.
And that's where the adventuring happens, I'm guessing.
That's where like the open world adventuring happens, because there's a story that kind of weaves through all these places. But if you want to just like go chop down trees and get more resources, like that's an easy place to do it.
Cool.
So anyway, point being, like, it is such a bizarre game. And at first I was like, that shouldn't work. Like, these things shouldn't work together because they're all so disparate. But something that I really like about Level 5 is that the developer of this game is that it feels like they have all taken every mechanic and they all just sort of like weave together at a certain point, because this and like Ni no Kuni and Dark Cloud to a certain extent too, it's like one part of the game you will do and you're like, that's fun. And then it's like, okay, but now I have a bunch of villagers. Let me go back here and do this villager thing. And then that feeds into Ginormosia or the past to the present or whatever. And eventually it's just like everything is kind of colliding in a way that's like very fun. It feels very satisfying to do almost everything in the game. And yeah, I'm loving it. It's such a bizarre combination of video game stuff, but it's really, really fun.
I'm so glad you like it. Yeah. I was really optimistic when it launched and everyone was like, why didn't Level 5 send out review codes for this? Like, this is the thing they should have been extremely proud of and confident in. I think Level 5 in general is kind of in a weird place right now from what I understand at least. But this is a game that like in the lead up really felt like it was on the razor's edge of maybe being terrible with the delays and the like lack of marketing in a lot of ways. But I think at least for me, I wasn't that tapped into the marketing that they were doing because I didn't want to like spoil myself on too much. Even the lives, I was like, I imagine a lot of the old ones will come back. Maybe there'll be some new ones. That'll be fine. I just want a sequel to Fantasy Life. That's all I really care about. Like, that's all I needed, you know? But jumping into it, the scope of it is unreal. Like, the first game took, if you wanted to do like everything in the first game, probably 100 hours, 150 hours, somewhere in that vicinity.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like this is, I don't know when someone will 100% this game. Like the scope of it seems unbelievable. Even the rate at which you level up all the different lives seems a lot more drawn out, not in a bad way, but like a lot more drawn out than it was the first time around. Because like I started as the woodsman, or the whatever it is, the wood guy.
You cut down trees.
Yeah, cut down trees with an axe. I started as that, and like even the jump from like the beginning trees that are in the opening area to like the first time they want you to, so all of these lives are ranked. They start as you as novice, and the next one is fledgling, and the move up from fledgling to the next rank, you need to cut down a great oak, which requires you to, I think, be like level 15 as a woodsman, which means you just got to chop down so many trees. Like you just like every tree you run by, you need to chop it down. And that, I think, is kind of the heart of what people loved and also hated about the first Fantasy Life, if you were or were not a fan, is like that part of it is grindy and mindless and like ultimate podcast game fodder. And that's really going to turn a lot of people off. I think the brilliance of Fantasy Life, the girl who steals time, is just the focus on everything else, like having the Ginormosia stuff, having the like modern island with the strangelings and stuff. Like I think all of that was a really, really brilliant addition to kind of give the people who I think would be a little bit more turned off by the more grindy aspects something more to chew on. But for me, and this is very silly, but it's like a self call out post, like what you described as bringing the lady who turned into a dresser back to the modern island, and like she turns back into a person. I haven't even seen that yet. I just have her as the dresser in my inventory still, because I've spent, I think, the past 5 hours of the game just maxing out lives, baby. I'm just like, I'm chopping down trees. I'm catching fish. I'm cooking them into dishes. I'm building little things. I'm going and fighting everything I can possibly find. Like that's been the game for me so far. But I literally today, my plan for today was like, I'm trying to record a bunch of footage of it. I don't know what for. I just felt like it'd be a good thing to have footage of for maybe like end of the year or something. But I was like, I really just want to like mainline the story for a while and see what's behind there.
Yeah, it does gate a lot of the like mechanics behind the story stuff initially, which I found like nice because I think if they had thrown everything at me at once, I would have been like, this is so much stuff. I can't deal with all of this. But to get you to know it a little bit, like piece by piece, I was like, I got all of it up to that point. So it was nice that they're like chunking it out in that way. It's also so funny when you start to get like friends that will follow you around and stuff like that because it's like everything, like you were saying, has a level. So like trees have levels, rocks have levels, and all of your friends will essentially like yell at you while you're chopping down a tree to like either buff you or debuff the tree to like make it weaker. It's just so funny to me every time.
Using skills on trees is awesome. It's hilarious. So funny. Yeah. Like the first skill you get when you're chopping down trees is like your little guy just kind of looks around at the tree and is like, this is a good spot to hit the tree, or this is not a good spot to hit the tree, or crucially, this is the best spot to hit the tree. And if you go hit the tree, yes, exactly. And if you go hit the tree in exactly that spot, you do more damage to the tree's health bar. But also you have light attacks and heavy attacks. So you could do light. Okay, here's how you min max the trees, chopping down trees. This also works for mining, but you need to use light attacks until the tree's health is as little as possible. It's almost like catching Pokemon, where it's like you want the Pokemon's health to be as low as possible, and you also want them to have like a status effect or something before you throw the Pokeball. Very similar. Right. You get it as low as possible, and then if you do a heavy attack, you do so much damage that you get what's called an excellent, and then that means that you're getting even more wood that falls out of the tree. You get even more materials. That works on trees, that works on rocks and minerals, and that works on all of the gathering stuff. I don't know if it works on fishing. I'm still trying to figure out how to get an excellent on fishing.
All right. Yeah. Minecraft's on notice then.
Minecraft is on notice.
They're coming for you. This sounds like the most strategic wood cutting I've ever heard of in a game.
Yeah. Notch, get even further away from Minecraft.
Exactly.
I hope Jack Black shows up in the Fantasy Life movie adaptation soon.
I would love that.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
All right. I'm going to let you guys go.
All right.
Because it's lunchtime for me. So I'm going to go eat some lunch. Have fun at the midnight release of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Thank you.
I'm excited to just start messaging me more about Fantasy Life. I haven't talked to anyone else who's played it yet. So except for my wife, who now has a copy of it for the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
But she got into the middle of the tutorial and then was like, I'm tired, and then went to sleep. So I don't think I'm the only one. Either we are literally a match made in heaven, or there's something just like inherently sleepy about Fantasy Life.
It turns the brain waves to off.
Yeah, it turns the brain waves to off.
And on that time to go to sleep.
Thank you for letting me crash your recording.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no problem.
It was very, very silly, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, have fun in Japan, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
See ya. Wow. Thank you, Brendon.
Wow. Blessed on the pod this day.
Yeah, absolutely. I always kind of hoped that somebody would crash it. So thank you, Brendon, for indulging.
This is going to set a precedent now.
Yeah, true.
Now the floodgates are open.
Can you imagine if we go into like just a public Discord, like we go into the worst garbage and just whoever shows up in there is like allowed on? What a terrifying prospect.
It's like, all right, here we go.
Everybody's chill in there, but it would be like a holy moly. I have 19 audio tracks that I have to put on the
this would pod. Be a nightmare for you. I'm a pod princess, and I'm just here to say things. Chase is the one who does all the heavy lifting, so keep him in your thoughts if you decide to come onto the pod.
It's much easier when there's just you and I, and even 3 is not too bad. But once you start getting up in like the 5+ zone, it's challenging. There's a lot of cross chatter that you got to like mute different tracks and shit. So yeah. Anyway, video games.
Video game.
Do you want to talk about the video games you've been playing, or do you want me to finish out what I've been playing?
So you did Fantasy Life.
Did Fantasy Life. I got one other one.
Keep it going, baby. Keep it rolling.
Okay, cool. The other game that I've been playing a lot of, David, is Monster Train 2.
Monster Train 2.
Monster
I saw
Train
this.
2.
This is out now.
Out.
Is this now the era where all of the sequels to deck building roguelikes come out?
Essentially, yeah, because Slay the Spire 2 is coming out this year,
Right.
I think it's this year, but regardless, that one feels outrageous to me. Like, I don't
Slay
know
the Spire
how
2?
Yeah, I don't know how you put out a sequel to Slay the Spire 2, if I'm being
It's like
real.
is it like Hamlet 2 to you?
Kind of, yeah. Like, it was a genre-defining game for like a long time. Still kind of is. And so I'm like, how do you top that? Because like I love Monster Train. I think the first one. This is also for anybody who doesn't know. It's a deck building roguelike. So you're drafting and fighting monsters and shit. In the first one, essentially how it worked was that you have 3 floors of a train, and you essentially are just like setting up monsters, and then there will be like waves of enemies that come through, and they attack sort of like in turns, right? So, and they just kind of run on automatic, right? So it's like you set everything up and then hit go, and then everybody takes their turn at once, and then you wait after that and you set everything up again and do it again. So like it's essentially you're just like setting the boundaries of like, all right, I have these guys on this floor, I've cast this spell that will do this much damage and blah blah blah. And I love that, but I think like Monster Train 1 was it's much more okay with you just totally breaking the game on a run. I really like that. That was something that was really fun to me.
Yeah.
But I think the first one didn't have the sort of like je ne sais quoi that like a Slay the Spire does, where it's like it just feels so balanced, you know? You can definitely break Slay the Spire in some builds, but like it just feels like Monster Train, the fun of it is almost being like, I feel like I shouldn't be able to get away with this. Like, and of course you can, like that's part of it, but that it's like such an outrage. Sometimes you just come upon a build and you're like, I don't think I can be beaten. you know? Like,
I am too powerful. This is silly.
Yeah. Which is that's kind of the draw of some of these roguelikes, because you can run into these builds where it's just like, I did it. Like I am so unbeatable.
Yes. I've hacked the game. I am now I am the one. I am in the matrix now and controlling the code.
Yeah. And so like, I was interested to see what they were going to do with the second one, because like, I don't really know what you do with that. Like, where else do you go? How do you expand that? And because I've seen stuff like, this isn't a roguelike, but you know, sort of a similar idea with Darkest Dungeon to Darkest Dungeon 2. Their answer was, we're going to make it a very different game. Like Darkest Dungeon 2 is a very different mechanical experience than the first one was. And I like, there's something to be said for that. Like, I think not resting on your laurels and being like, let's try something totally different. Let's see what's like going on in this other kind of video game is cool. And I like to see the creative expression there. But essentially Monster Train 2's approach is, we're going to give you more Monster Train. And that is
more monsters, two monsters to train.
Essentially, yeah. Like you've got 5 new monster clans, but like if you looked at the first one and looked at the second one, you might be fooled into thinking like, is this the same game? Or like, maybe this is like a DLC for the game. And I say all that and also will note, and I really like that. I really like this game a lot. It is definitely not reinventing their own wheel.
Yeah.
It plays it pretty safe as far as like the overall game goes, but like, you know, they've added some story a little bit. It's kind of, I'm not that interested.
Does it need story?
I didn't think so, but like it's there.
Okay.
But I think like the stuff for the real sickos is in here, and like that's what I'm there for. Like they have added in the first one, there were all these like monster clans, and so you would choose like a primary clan and a secondary clan, and that would make up like kind of your starter cards in your deck. And from there, you would essentially just like draft different cards from there.
Yeah.
And in the second one, that's also the same, but like all the clans are like the ones you get initially are very different than the ones in the first game. And they all kind of have like different mechanics. One of the first ones that you get, I think, is introducing you more to how this game wants you to play it, because there was like a kind of like meta in the first one where a very solid tactic was to make just one of your floors the freak floor, where like you just put everybody, if you could help
the freak floor.
The freak floor, where all the
freaks
freaks
only
go. Yes, yeah. And like just like get as many monsters on there as you possibly can. Like
just like your biggest boys on one floor.
Yes. Yeah. Like put the beefiest boy in the front so he can take some damage, and then everybody else behind him. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that worked a lot of the time. And I think that this game almost immediately is like, we would like you to maybe like make this a little bit more balanced.
So they're trying to make it a little bit more of a challenging game where you can't just break it quite as easily.
I think that you can still break it. I think you just have to break it in a different way.
You can't do the freak floor anymore.
You can't do the freak floor. Every now and then you'll be like, okay, that still like kind of worked a little bit. But the builds where like I've been playing much better recently. Like the first couple runs, I was like, man, I'm getting my ass kicked. But since then, I've kind of figured out like, okay, I think I know how this clan is supposed to be played, right? One of the first ones you get are essentially like kind of fallen angels from the first one. There were a bunch of angels which you were fighting. Now a lot of them have joined this like a train clan, I guess.
Oh, and they're training too now, huh?
Yeah, they all got their trains too. But a lot of their mechanics have to do with this thing called Valor, which is like it boosts your attack. And also, if you're in the front, you will get shield every turn depending on how much Valor you have. So if you have 7 Valor, at the beginning of your turn, you'll have 7 shield. And so it kind of behooves you to like add that to people, but then like shift them around a little bit. Because a lot of those cards, it will add Valor and also move them to the front of the train. And so there's that. And that clan also has a ton of cards that move people up and down on the floors. So like you can take one of your allies and move them up a floor very easily, or like move other people down and stuff like that. So I think it's encouraging you to try like a little bit more flexibility with your play. Initially, at least. A lot of the other clans have like similarly interesting mechanics of like, one of them has this like moon mechanic where some of the cards you will play will change the phase of the moon from new moon to whole like full moon or whatever. And that has different effects on different cards. There is this like mechanic for like dragons where you can collect like dragon eggs. And then if you have a certain amount of them at the end of a level, you can like cash them in to get like money or like artifacts or something like that. None of this really like matters that much as we're talking about it, but when you're playing the game, it's like, wow, this is like, it all feels new and fresh and shit like that. There's a couple of very fun like call outs in this game too. It's clear that like these developers probably have a relationship with a number of other indie games. Sure. There is both a Balatro call out and what's the game? Inscription call out as well.
Wow.
Where like
the indie gaming universe.
Yeah. Like one of the events that you can run into in this game is that like you run into Jimbo, the Joker from Balatro, and he lets you draft a Joker card. Right.
Whoa. Okay.
And so like it, that kind of shit's just, it's very fun. It's very tongue in cheek. And at no point does it really like affect the game where it feels like, oh, this was unnecessary. It's just kind of like a random event you can run into. And so I found that very like cute.
Super cute.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a ton of stuff to unlock here, which I really appreciate. Like, I'm not going to spoil everything, but like suffice it to say, about halfway through the game, there was like a huge unlock that I'm like, I can't believe this is in here. Like, this is very cool. And so it's one of those games that I just know I'm going to be playing this forever. Like I played the first Slay the Spire a lot. I played the first Monster Train a ton. And this one's exactly that, where it's like the game will track, have you beaten the game with this combination of clans? And then it will, say how high of a difficulty have you beat it at?
Do they give you a nice little check mark if you do?
They sure do. Yeah. Like there's there's like a page that you can just see all that info. And so
we know you filling that out.
For sure. Like it's very satisfying for me to look through it and be like sometimes you'll play these clans and it'll be like, these two clans have no business being together. Like it seems like there is no possible way for me to like get a good integration between the two of them. And then you just play it enough until you're like, oh my God, I finally figured out how to make this work, right? Like how I can combine these two. Cause there was in the first one, I think it was the Melting Remnant and the Umbra clan, like just worked together so well for me. Like I was like, I can't believe how perfect this is. And there's a couple of those combinations in this one too, where it's like these go together like just bread or butter on bread, baby, like a match made in heaven. And other ones
that's the most boring version of that phrase you could have chosen. And this goes together like bread and butter.
I mean, bread and butter is good.
They go together well, but you had so many other options. Anyways,
this goes together like a glass and some water. Wow.
This goes together like Jason David.
Wow. That's a good combination, though.
It's a good combo.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of clans that work together but also ones that seemingly have no business. And beating those ones is always just very fun for me. So yeah, it's I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I think this is a very good game, albeit not that different than the first one. It feels like a sort of like step into the future of Monster Train rather than like a huge reinventing of the game.
Feels like the sequel to Monster Train.
It very much does. It feels like the like 2006 sequel to Monster Train because because like games of that era, when they put out a sequel, oftentimes it was like, yeah, it's more of that.
That game, like but more of it, and with some of the sharper edges sanded off. Of life,
right? Yeah, things are easier and nicer and stuff like that.
Absolutely. That's a good game. Oftentimes those are the ones that I remember the most fondly in that era.
It's true. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of this. I think if you were a fan of Monster Train 1, like it's kind of a no-brainer. Like I can so easily recommend the second one because like if you did like it, there's a lot of that here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good.
Nice.
What are you playing, David? What do you got?
Ooh, I got some games. Let me pull up my notes. So the Switch 2 launches tomorrow. We talked about it a little bit already. My Switch is en route, and I decided I needed to play something on my Switch, kind of to say goodbye to it, right? I've had this console for a while. I was feeling a little nostalgic already for it, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to go back in and just see what kind of game or challenge I would like to try and conquer from this giant library of games that this console has gifted me over the years. I had met up with a good friend of mine from high school recently, and he has recently gotten a Switch. He's a dad of many years now, so he doesn't have as much time to game. And I told him to get Mario Odyssey, and he rammed through that game, just demolished it. And then he sent me a text like, "Should I do the Darker Side of the Moon?" I'm like, "Yes, you should do the Darker Side of the Moon. I haven't done the Darker Side of the Moon. You definitely should. I believe in you." And he went and he did it, which made me go, "I need to now do this.
Yeah, sure.
I need to go back and face my demons." Because all gamers, once you hit a certain age, you have a closet full of demons who you look into it every now and then. You go, should I go back and try to beat this one? And oftentimes the answer is no. Darker Side of the Moon from Mario Odyssey was in that closet of gaming demons for me, alongside the Valkyrie Queen from God of War 2018. Was that the first? And then also the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. That's my closet of scaries. Then I decided I'm going to try to take down the Dark Side of the Moon. And I did. And it was great. It was a fun time. It was so frustrating. It was hard. It's a very hard level of Mario. And many times I was playing it and cursing the Joy-Con because one of my sticks has drift. So I would not be going forward anymore, but Yoshi would just fly off the edge into the abyss and it would start over again. And that was maddening, but a very fun level. You definitely feel like a Mario Pro after you beat this one. It's, it becomes rhythmic at the end, at least those first couple of levels, right? When you start having to go through them over and over and over again, you're like, all right, you're not even like watching the screen. You're just kind of listening to the cadence of your button inputs and like how you're hitting the stick. And that's how you remember how to do it. It becomes a dance with Mario at a certain point. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it was also a very fitting send off for me for the Switch because after you beat this level, they make you write out thank you right at the end.
Oh yeah.
You you cappy a little electrical wire and it spells out thank you, and then it shows it to the player. It's like, oh yeah, thank you, yeah, great, I did the game. But then it felt like, okay, this is my send off for the Switch. Yes, thank you Switch for being my friend for a long time. Yeah. And then at the end, Cappy has a heartfelt thank you as you keep on climbing the new Donk City town hall to get to the Power Moon bundle that's at the very top there. Also, strangely poignant what he was saying when we were climbing up there.
Really?
Just being very sincere about the large odyssey and trip that you have been on together and how you've been through so much. And I'm like, is my Switch talking to me right now? Is that what's going on? It was a little dissociative, slightly.
Yeah.
My Switch is now self-aware, and I'm about to put it in the closet, so where it can foment anger and plot its revenge against me. But I digress.
Yeah.
So that was very fun. I really enjoyed the Darker Side of the Moon.
It's on my gamer list. I haven't done it either.
You should take your Switch with you to Best Buy tonight.
Yeah, and beat it there with the children and show them how much of a gamer you are. They're like, we beat this like 7 years ago, dude. Like,
yeah, what's your fastest time, bro? Are you streaming this right now? Gamers are built different nowadays.
This dude's washed. Yeah. Is he crashing out right now?
He's crashing out. Yeah, he's peaked.
He's really fallen off.
He's really fallen off. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else is on my list. That's definitely on there. I think Nightmare King Grimm is on there at this point. I never did him.
I vanquished him recently. He was a real bastard. You can do it. I believe in you. Radon?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah, that's true. Never did it. I should give that one another try. That was within my grasp, I think.
You can do it.
I did do the Valkyrie Queen at the time because I was like, if I don't do it now, I won't do it. Like,
yeah.
With
that's
those
the hardest
ones,
one for me to go back.
Yeah, because you've gotten so good at the game while playing it for so long that it's like, how do I get that good again?
Yeah, that and Nameless King for me. I'm just going to have to play Dark Souls 3 all over again.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Which isn't honestly not a bad thing. I will do that, I think, at some point. Because I want to I tried it with a fire person, like a fire mage, essentially. And I didn't like the gameplay. I need to hit. I need a big, strong boy and just hit.
Yeah.
I need to go back and do that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like for a while, the Bloodborne bosses, the DLC bosses were that for me. I was like, I think I don't have the sauce for this. And then like used a build that was like competent in Bloodborne. Like somebody's like, hey, try this. And I was like, oh my God, this is miraculous compared to what I was doing before.
I haven't even, I have the DLC for Bloodborne. I haven't touched it.
It's worth it. It's really good. It's more Bloodborne. So like that's never a bad thing. But some of those environments are really cool. I mean, Bloodborne's just good, man. It's good.
Yeah. Another game I probably should replay at some point. And I think the other thing that'll probably be in my gamer closet, my gamer scary closet, is just like the entirety of Cuphead.
Right.
There is a call for me from Cuphead to like, hey, come back in, do it. You can do it. And then I think about it and I go, I'm okay right now. I don't need this frustration in my life at this moment. But yeah, one day maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
See. I have also been playing Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, sure enough. Yeah. This is a weird video game, huh?
Did you play this one?
No. This, like, I really just, like, looked at it through the window pane because, like, from what I heard from most people, it was like, it's pretty good. And then it kind of got wrapped up in, like, gamer culture war shit where they were like, this is actually the best video game ever because it's not fucking woke and shit like that. It's just like, oh my God, dude.
And then also kind of geopolitics with the creator saying, like, this should have won Game of the Year at Game Awards. This is the greatest game of all time. But like, dude, chill out.
Come on. Yeah.
Guys crashing out right now.
How are you feeling about it?
I am enjoying it. It's it has a free game trial for PlayStation Plus, whatever I am, on there. Like I think it was for 2 hours. So I decided, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. And this always looked fun. I like the mythology and it's got good reviews. So let's give it a go. Yeah. First of all, the game looks incredible. It really, really looks amazing. And I think this game and some of the games that I've been seeing recently, like trailers for, it feels like developers are really getting a feel for this generation's power and are really starting to maximize it because this game looks incredible. And then I think that it was the trailer for GTA 6. I was like, if this game looks this good, like actually
outrageous.
That's insane. That was the first trailer where I was like, wow, I'm actually super impressed with how it looks.
It feels like the next generation there.
Exactly. That hasn't happened in a long time for me. And I feel like this game is kind of representing a shift in that direction of games really maximizing like performance and fidelity in this generation. That's very exciting for me because it does just add that extra layer of immersion and beauty and just newness to it when a game looks that good. And it's just like shocking you with how good it looks. There is something engaging about that from a sensory perspective that I think is worth discussing and seeking, right? Because I feel like it's just been missing for me from games for a while. Like we've gotten really good at stylizing things, but now it seems there's just a difference in fidelity, which is cool to see. But beyond how it looks, the game is actually fun. I'd say it's not like, oh my God, amazing. This is the most amazing game I've ever played from Software's on notice because these people have perfected the Souls-like genre. But it is a good, very competent Souls-like game. It's, I would have to probably play more of it to even say if it was like on a Lies of P plane for me. Yeah. But I'd say early returns, there's a lot of really interesting and cool things they do. There's transformations you can do where you have become like different characters with different weapons and skill sets, which is fun. The different powers you get are really pretty cool and they feel good to use. Like the one I had right now is the stasis power, where it just immediately stops someone and you just go over and whack them, and it just feels good to do the hits when you hit them. There's just something extra powerful about it, and then just the animation of them getting stuck right where they are in their when whatever they're doing is done very well. It makes it feel very organic and real, and it's like not juddery or glitchy at all. Like I said, I think that goes back to the fidelity of the game, adding something to it, a little je ne sais quoi. But beyond that, the basic bones of the game is not a roguelike, a Souls-like, right? You go along, there's a pathway with a bunch of strong enemies who are going to kick your ass if you're not careful, and then you get to the next checkpoint, and then rinse and repeat. I would say that a lot of the bosses are pretty cool. They're pretty engaging to look at, and they do a good job of making things visually exciting but not overwhelming visually. I feel like some games get overwhelming visually for me, and they're like I can't take in everything that it's wanting me to take in because there's so much going on the screen at once, and like at the same time I'm trying not to die. So sometimes when I play games, I think Cuphead's a good example of this actually. I feel like I'm missing out on part of the experience by being by having to engage so much with like the gameplay of it all that I can't appreciate all of the detail that they put into the whole picture, right? And I feel like this game in the combat, at least the boss battles that I've done so far, lets you really just feel the battle, and what you're looking at to engage in the battle is also what's engaging to look at visually, which I appreciate. But it's a fun game. Nice. I wouldn't say that. I'd say that it's not as a good enough game to have so much hoopla around it, so much controversy and ass hattery, I guess, right? For lack of a better term. It's a fun game. I've finished my 2-hour free trial. I'm considering maybe getting it, but I have so many other games that I'm like, is this really going to pull me away from something else that I'm playing right now? Maybe not. Maybe not. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm falling on Black Myth Wukong. Fun game, beautiful to look at. I think a good achievement for, what is this, like this developer's first game? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Very impressive for a debut. Fun. I enjoyed it. Is it the greatest game I've ever played in my life? No, but it's very good.
Yeah. The fidelity thing is interesting. I agree with you that for a while I think there's something in my brain that still wants that like progress, I think that's just from the era that we grew up in, that it was
absolutely
like progress is the game looking better, and I think you started to get real diminishing returns on that the farther out you get.
Absolutely.
And like, I think that there's still some lingering feelings in the game industry of better looking is better, like just overall,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like that's a lot of time it's unnecessary, I really only need like a few games to be trying to do that, like I think it's cool that GTA is trying to look so outrageously good, there's something to be said there. And I think that that's really like a neat achievement, but like, I don't need, like Doom or something like that to look amazing, it'd be cool if it looked all right, but like graphical fidelity is not the thing that I'm looking for most of the time. But I think a lot of the time the games industry at large is like still kind of chasing that high of like, we need it to look good, but that there's plenty of like lo-fi or even just like okay looking games that are like doing really interesting shit, So
absolutely.
I just wish we were a little bit more choosy with like which games go after high fidelity, gigantic experiences, like I don't need most of them to look that good, but I also suspect that like there's a non-insignificant amount of people who they'll look at a game and if it doesn't look good, like visually, they'll be like, nah.
Not for me, bro. And I feel like, I totally agree with what you're saying about diminishing returns for games like trying their best to look good. But I feel like there was a certain point where instead of improving how realistic something looked, people went with just more detail in every frame. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but like I was saying, it almost becomes like a sensory overload thing, at least for me personally. There's too much going on the screen at once, and it kind of distracts from the game, which is what really impressed me with the GTA 6 trailer, is that it doesn't really look like it's so detailed that it doesn't look detailed at this point, which is strange to say, but it allows me to kind of just look at the whole picture a little bit easier as opposed opposed to trying to focus on one thing or another thing and missing out on the whole picture that they're trying to show me when it's kind of these sporadic bits of detail that are thrown out there. So I think that's what really impressed me with it.
Yeah, that it's like choosy about kind of the stuff it's trying to get you to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the main thing that I hope is just like it bums me out when, you know, Naughty Dog is like, hey man, we got to crunch for months and months so that like this alleyway that someone sprints through for 10 seconds looks perfect. You know, like,
look, don't do it.
Like, don't do it. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the better games I've played in the last couple of years, like very few of them are like earth-shatteringly beautiful, you know? There's a couple.
I agree. Outer Wilds,
like looks like a video game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's stylized, like it has a style to it, but like realism is not one of those things.
Exactly.
1,000 Times Resist not a realistic video game.
No.
Metaphor, I think, is like it's so stylized, but like if you look at the actual character models in any given Atlas game, if you really look at them, you're like, that's pretty simple, all things considered.
Yeah.
But it's just because they have those like beautiful portraits of all the characters that pop up whenever they're talking that you're like, you're not really looking at the character models themselves or like the environments all that often.
Yeah.
I feel like they work really well with like their like what they've got essentially. I feel like I'm looking at the games that I've played this year. The only thing that like was really good visually speaking, I guess, is Expedition 33, and then maybe that Assassin's Creed game, Shadows. But like the rest of them are so basic and like simple as far as like their realism goes. There's plenty of things that are stylized, but not like realistic.
Gotcha.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It seems like there's two paths that developers can take, and you can either go 100% for trying to make it as smooth and realistic as possible, or you got to find some way to stylize it.
Yeah.
And I'd say even Clair Obscur is stylized quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, I've also been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Oh, interesting. How do you feel about this game? I
love this game.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering because I was like, there's a world where you either love it or you hate it, and I don't know which one it is.
This is the Game of Thrones sim that I've been wanting for years.
Yeah, it's deep. There's a lot of depth to this game.
There's a lot of depth to this game. It looks incredible. Also, once again, I was shocked by how good the game looked. I didn't think that. I guess I thought this was like a lower budget indie sort of deal, but no, this is
real deal gaming, baby. This is the big leagues. This is AAA.
I already can hear myself pitching you down for that that bit.
You can hear you pitching me down. So you can hear you like heavy breathing as you pitch me down on the keyboard.
As I'm clicking through editing.
Nice. Anyways.
Yeah.
AAA gaming.
This is a fun game. It's like I said, this is essentially a night in medieval Europe sim, right? So that's what this game is. It's a first person game. It's immersive. A lot of different ways that you can go about very banal things like gathering ingredients or finding food for your dog and very basic things like that, which is very fun for me in a strange way. I feel like the stuff that you and Brendon were talking about with Fantasy Life that's kind of what I'm getting from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in a way, but just with more swords and, you know, medieval douchery, you know, just people being assholes to each other. Yeah, I love the setting. I love the characters. The gameplay is fun and varied and seems just very realistic in its depiction of this type of war. Yeah. It's not like the Hollywood version where there's like trumpets blaring and things like that. It's like 10 guys at a gate trying to stop a bunch of other bros from getting through, right? Yeah. And then, you know, one of them gets shot with an arrow and just like goes around a corner and just yells fuck a couple times and takes the arrow out and keeps fighting. Once again, it's giving you the banality of this type of life and this warfare, showing it to you in a way that is very, you know, not sensationalized, just feels more realistic to me than a lot of depictions of it, which I enjoy. You know, there's a sturdiness to it that I like. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're a person who like does enjoy experiencing what it would be like in a fantasy setting, like on the ground, you know, like what the smallest scale stories.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably why the Game of Thrones stuff spoke to you so much, because you just got so many different avenues to explore the world, and like the level of detail in there was just nuts.
Yeah.
And this one feels very detailed. Like if you want to go looking for something, you can find it, or like, you know, it just feels like the world is very alive in a way
it's
that
a very
lot of video
deep
games.
World. Very deep world building.
How far into it have you gotten?
Just a couple hours. Not too far.
Sure. Have you done the alchemy yet?
No, I have not.
Alchemy is outrageous. It is like, I feel like I'm doing actual alchemy while I'm doing it in the game. Like you truly have to like look at the cookbook and see the instructions and be like, okay, what do I need to do here? Like, all right, it takes 2 of these things that I need to like squash up in the mortar and pestle. And then
I'm excited. Everything you're telling me about this right now, I'm like, yes, I want to do that. Give me the mortar and pestle.
It's so over the top, but yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying this. That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, things like putting armor on the right way. You got to have your gambeson on underneath your plate. Otherwise, you're just going to get bruised the fuck up, you know?
Yep.
The way that you sword fight, where you have to choose the angle and then you have to parry and you have to just keep on whacking away until you find an opening. I enjoy that a lot. Yeah. It's very strategic in a way that, honestly, as far as swordplay goes, you know, maybe I'll say it differently after I played this game for longer, but, you know, Sekiro has great swordplay. It's very kind of arcadey in comparison to this, but this is also almost as engaging to me as that, just in a very different way, right?
This is the Gran Turismo of sword fighting.
This is the Gran Turismo of sword fighting. You are so right. This is the Gran Turismo of a FromSoft game.
Yeah, like where it's just straight up sim a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Whenever I get into a fight in this game, I'm almost like, oh fuck, like I shouldn't be fighting. You know?
Yeah,
like,
that's great. I love that.
It feels dangerous, and like I kind of want to avoid pulling out my sword because it's like, there's 3 of them when we only got 2 people. Like that's not good.
I love that when it's like you and versus 2 other people. You're like, ooh, I don't know if I like these odds. There's 2 of them. Like if one of them just grabs my arm, it's over. You know? Yeah,
because when you're fighting 2 people, it's genuinely a lot harder. Like because if you're just fighting one of them, you're kind of trying to focus on the angle and like, all right, I got to look for the opening, and then their other dude will just come and punch you in the head, and then everything is fucked. The other guy's swinging his sword now, like he's cutting you up. So you like have to be very intentional about trying to like poke one of them away and like keep them kind of at a distance, so you're controlling both of them. But it's like, if you can afford to, like getting into a one-on-one fight is much preferable to any other odds,
or just not getting into a fight at all.
Just not fighting.
Know, just be speechy, be speechcraft. Houndmaster. And also any game that lets you be a Houndmaster, love it. Love it. So I'm very excited to play more of this game. I think it's going to be a big year for RPGs for me with this and Persona 3, and then also the other game I'm playing, which is Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Clair Obscur. Yeah. Damn, you have bitten off some chunky boys in the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah, I'm all over the place, but I'm going for it. I'm just letting my heart decide. This game's great. This game's really fun. I know this is like the talk of the town right now. So
we got discourse, baby.
I was about to say, I think you want to talk about it too, don't you?
A little, yeah. To jump ahead a little bit, I'm surprised we've never done this before, but I was hoping to have like a mid-year check-in about all the shit that I've played, or that I like either of us have played, and just be like, all right, here's been my experience with it. Because I oftentimes bring up games and then like I won't bring them again unless I have something interesting to say. Yeah. But same. Like I'll keep talking about them, or keep playing rather. And so I thought it would be worth like, all right, how was my experience with, Blueprints after talking about it on the pod or whatever. And so Clair Obscur was one of them. But yeah, let me know your feelings. I kind of want to hear where you're at before I dig into how I got through it.
Yeah, the game, I think you talked about it a little bit on the podcast before, but it does an exceptional job of just pulling you into this world and getting you engaged in the story and showing you why you should be going across the ocean mission to parts unknown to try and break this cycle of people being, just totally without any rhyme or reason killed by this supernatural being, the Paintress, just based off of how old they are, right?
Yeah.
Just everything from the music to the visuals to the voice acting in that first hour or so is just pitch perfect and just setting the tone and the stakes for this game and getting you to be like, yeah, all right, Gustav, let's do this, boy. Let's go, bro. And then just totally ripping the rug out from underneath you when you land on the continent and just everyone
shit goes bad so fast,
destroyed immediately by one old man, which is probably why they've been killing all the old people. They're too powerful. These old people are too strong. That's what's going on.
Way too much sauce. Yeah.
Way too much sauce, these oldies. The combat I really enjoy. I feel like I enjoy this more than a lot of other kind of QTE based turn-based RPGs, because the way that they do it is interesting in that dodging and parrying is based off of visual cues from the enemy, whereas making sure that you do a good hit is based off of more QTE events, right? Where it shows the timing and the circle around the button that you have to press to make it give you the extra special hard hit, right? I like that variety because there is a difference in how you engage with that visually that I enjoy. Sometimes if they're just throwing buttons up at me all the time, it just becomes overwhelming for me. And once again, it's a thing like now I'm focusing on something that I don't necessarily want to have to focus on because I want to look at the cool move I'm doing. Whereas with the dodging, I get to see more of the beautiful animations and the graphics that they have really stylized to make look cool, right?
Yeah.
So I like the variety there. I feel like it has a cool magic system. I enjoy how the characters feel different that you have. And I think it's so far telling a pretty affective story that I'm enjoying. Yeah, I haven't gotten too far. Right now I'm looking for Mael. Yeah, I'm at the Indigo Tree and I'm looking for Mael. Yeah. Or I just left Indigo Tree, I should say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. It's no other game in recent history has made me feel like I really need to, like it demands me to have my own exact opinion about it. Like sometimes I'll play a game and like I try not to do this just because like, people are here to hear us talking specifically how we think about something. But, every now and then I'll catch like somebody's vibe on a game and be like, oh, I inherited a little bit of the enjoyment from that person,
I inherited the vibe.
Yeah. Obviously, like I play all these games, so it's I of course have to judge them on their own merit. But like Expedition 33, I'm like, I gotta lock down exactly what I feel about this because I may need to defend exactly how I feel.
Really? Is it pretty contentious?
It's just very internet-y because I think that there's a lot of people who really, really like, they really like the game. And there also seem to be a certain amount of people who think it's like the second coming of God. Like they're like, this is the best fucking video game I've ever played. And I think when some people were also like, this is not the second coming of God. Like this is like an okay game, like it's not bad, but it's not like the best thing I've ever played. That opinion kind of got like shouted down a little bit. They're like, I can't believe you would have that opinion, Which that
so people kind of there's trench warfare going on the internet right now.
Yeah, we're fighting for no man's land right now, trying to push through Bulgaria or whatever. Yeah, speaking of Kingdom Come Deliverance.
There you go.
But there's like, it seems like people are having feelings about feelings, I am mad that you didn't like it or something like that, which is just, it's very odd. That's always a very strange opinion to me. Like, not only am I not trying to like rob you of your joy, but I also think that if someone doesn't like it, that doesn't stop you from liking it either.
So you don't like it that much.
I think the best, so here's my arc with the game. I liked the intro, and I think the best part of the game for me was between Act 1 and 2. I think in there, it's great, at least from my experience. Like, I liked all the active combat stuff. I don't really find it that repetitive. I know that was a complaint that people have, is like, at a certain point, you're just doing the same strategy over and over again when you're fighting the enemies. I'm like, I'm kind of okay, like, with the approach of this, because I think it is blending a lot of, like, action game with RPG.
Absolutely. And I think that's what also something I like about it.
Yeah, and I like a lot of that, but I suspect some of the cocktails of those two mechanics might just, some people will be like, this is neither good enough action nor good enough turn-based RPG, And I wasn't too opposed on that, but I think like the story and specifically what it's saying towards the end of it, I'm like, it kind of left me like, I don't know if I loved that, you know? Because like it sets up so much in the beginning.
Sure.
And like, I was sat for most of it. Like, you give me whatever the fuck you got in here, man. And especially at the end of Act 1, it makes kind of a bold choice. And I was like, I'm in, dude. Like, I'm here for it. I think a lot of someone's enjoyment is also going to depend on if they like these characters or not. And I had no problem being a friend of Gustav and a friend of Mael and like all these characters and stuff. But like some people, when they're describing it, they're like, I don't give a shit at all about these people. And like, power to you, you know, like not everybody's going to speak to everybody, you know? I think a lot of people just found them kind of flat, like kind of like tropey of like, I don't really get a sense of who this person is, you know?
I see that. I feel like, I could see that people reading them as flat. I just read them as depressed.
I totally get that.
But yeah, anyways.
And so like, I just found the end of it a little rough. Like it's hard to say anything without spoiling it. And so like, if at some point you beat it, like I'd love to talk about it, but yeah, the end of the game, I was like, I don't know if I like all that. Not in like a terribly problematic way, but just like, it was bizarre, the choices that they made. And like, just kind of feels like we're flying by the seat of our pants here with a lot of what's going on.
Sure.
I would say I'm warm on the game. Like overall, I liked it, but it's probably not going to make like the best RPGs I've played this year.
Okay.
It's
all
mixed.
right, everybody. Yell at Chase now.
Yeah. Fire your weapons, everybody. I think like to me, a lot of what is going on with this game is that it is a very strange combination of a lot of different genres, and the story has taken some pretty wild swings too. And so like a lot of that is going to come down to, did that work for you or not?
So it just feels a little uneven for you in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. Just like some of my taste doesn't line up exactly with where it is. But I think the story certainly feels uneven in like how bought in I was at certain points versus how out of it I was at other points.
So kind of like Final Fantasy 16?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I think 16 is a pretty good comparison, because like there were points in 16 where I'm like, y'all have got such a good setup for the rest of this video game. And then at other points, I'm like, what are we doing, y'all? What is happening here?
Yeah.
And so it does feel similar in that way. So yeah, I was like, pretty good, but like other things will make my GOTY list, you know?
Okay. Already off the GOTY list.
I think so.
Says Chase.
I think so.
Wow. Should we do our NOTY list?
Not game of the year.
Halfway through the year, this is the NOTYs. Not Clair Obscur.
Probably not. Maybe I'll have a change of heart by the end of it and be like, you know what? I actually do care for that game more than I gave it credit. But right now, I don't feel that way.
Oh, can I do a NOTY?
Yeah, hit me with your NOTY.
Probably Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fun game, but like, am I going to try to give it its flowers over a bunch of other games that are coming out this year? We'll see.
Honestly, Black Myth Wukong feels a lot like the discourse of this game. There's like some people who are huge defenders of it, and then some people who are like, this didn't work for me that well. And they're like, are you kidding me? How dare you speak
I'm personally offended that you didn't enjoy the game that I enjoyed from a subjective experience of my own.
Yes. People, man. It's crazy.
Just talk about it. Just talk about it. Learn about someone else's perspective. They're not attacking you. They're not.
Yeah,
maybe they are sometimes, but that's their issue then.
It's fine. Yeah.
That's their shit then. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it comes down to just very internet-y shit of like people associating too much with the things that they consume. And then at a certain point, like, I didn't like this sounds like I don't like you, or like, I don't like the things that you like. It's like, that's not really true. It's art. It just hits people.
I don't like everything you stand for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's why don't we take a break and then we can come back and talk about the half year check-in.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, welcome back. We don't have a segment name for this one. Normally, this is the spot where we talk about an okay game, but not this week. We're switching it up for a second week in a row.
Yeah, we're really going off the rails here.
Yeah.
We're really living the variety of video game Podtimism right now.
Finally, yeah, since episode 10 where we stopped doing that and kind of just did the rest of it. just good games. But yeah, a little variety. It won't hurt you. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
It won't hurt you.
Yeah, it's good for you.
That's good it is.
So yeah, we figured it's halfway through the year right now. We're on the precipice of the Switch 2. Like, it's time to reflect a little bit and talk about the games that we played this year and just kind of recheck in, see what's going on with them. Did it a little bit with Clair Obscur just now, but I've got some other games that I played that love to check in with you about. And of course, whatever you got, bring it, baby.
Let's check it out.
So let's see. Let's work backwards. Dynasty Warriors Origins was a game that I was pretty hot on earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And I played a fair bit of that one. I didn't have really anything else to say because it was just more Dynasty Warriors at a certain point.
Yes.
But I did really enjoy what I played. I didn't beat it. I think I would like to prior to GOTY if I have any time for that because GOTY season is also post having a child.
Baby season. Yeah,
exactly. So we'll see if I'm able to dedicate any amount of time to that at all. But I did enjoy Dynasty Warriors Origins. I got to the part in Dynasty Warriors Origins where you had to essentially align with one of the kingdoms, which it was cool. I chickened out. I ran from the war and said, that's enough. I've had enough conflict. You're telling me a nasty died here? And I said, no, thank you.
A nasty? Oh, is that your character's name?
I was Dynasty. No, what was my name? I forget what it was. I think was it like Chew Boo or something like that?
True Blue.
I don't remember what it was. Oh God, wasn't there a funny name for the main character? Like somebody called him like John Dynasty or something like that.
I mean, sure. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I will also say I was like moderately into the weird story stuff they were doing with the main character. I thought that was interesting.
Did you kiss Cow
I can't
Cow?
say you cannot kiss Cow Cow. There was no romance in this game. But it is bizarre because it does seem like all the characters are flirting with you whenever you go and like hang out with them. It's so strange.
There is no romance in these three kingdoms.
No, nobody is kissing, unfortunately. Let's see. I kind of fell off of Avowed, weirdly enough. I played a fair amount of it and then just at some point decided not to go back to it, or didn't even decide. I just didn't. I want to like that game, I think, more than I did, but I still enjoyed it. And there were things about it that I did really enjoy. I really liked the way that it approaches magic. I feel like it made magic feel like very interesting as a combat form rather than just like in Skyrim where you hold up your hand and cast fireball. It was much more active than that. And so I did like that, but I didn't get through it. I would be interested to do that one. That's another one where I'm like, I should actually give that a little bit more of a shake because I think that there was more to love there. But yeah, I mean, it does have Garrison, so it's still really good.
Got to do Garrus.
I will also say I beat Blueprints. It was a pretty good game. I like that one. There is it seems like there is quite a bit of game left after you roll credits though. Like you are able to like beat the game mechanically. There's like so much story that it seems like there is still yet to be unsurfaced once you beat it. And I actually did find the story pretty good. It just, it doesn't start hitting real hard until you get pretty close to beating it. Like the story, I was like, oh my God, is that what this game is like about? Like didn't hit me until I was seeing the kind of credits cutscene. And again, from what I understand, there's like a fair amount of stuff that happens after that you can dig around and like, see what's happening in the actual story. I suspect I will need a YouTuber to be like, did you know that the real story of Blueprints is hidden in plain sight? I need that guy to explain to me what
British
happens.
Not British enough.
Yeah, sorry. Did you know that the story of Blueprints is hidden in plain sight?
All right, that was pretty good. I would listen to that person.
Thank you.
Definitely listen to that person.
So I'm just like I'm not fucking big brain enough, man. Like I had to work.
You call yourself small brained?
I had to work to beat fucking Outer Wilds, man. And
sure.
So like the game that's requiring me to take notes and stuff, like I don't know the family tree and Blueprints good enough to know the lore implications of a lot of things.
You have to know the family tree.
It's not a bad idea, like there's a lot of characters rolling around in there.
Sure.
You don't really need to know it to beat the game. It might help in a couple places, but like that's not required to beat it. But I think to understand the whole story, if I don't want to go British YouTuber, then I need to have known that. And like, I just don't have the sauce for that. So I did really enjoy my experience with it though. I thought it was pretty good.
Pretty good.
I also beat Mullet Madjack. That
the first person shooter.
The rogue-like boomer shooter that I brought up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Good video game. Fairly concise. Like it didn't feel like that long. And I think a lot of the draw of that game is the replayability and kind of the endless modes, but I've never been an endless mode guy. I kind of need an end mode,
I need there to be a reason.
Yeah.
Unless I'm saving a balloon for the 5,000th time. I would play that forever ever.
A sea balloon.
Spider-Man 2 on the PS2.
Spider-Man 2. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I thought you were talking about like balloons or something.
No. Not talking about lunars.
So yeah, I need a little bit of an end to a mode. So typically whenever something throws an endless mode at me, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually okay. I did hear from one of our listeners, Cameron, that I should check out the endless mode of Monster Terrain 2. Apparently that one is quite good.
He's already to the endless mode.
That one I think you do unlock pretty early. Like
Okay.
you can just keep going. I do think Cameron is a fair bit better at Monster Train than me, though.
Yeah.
I think that Cameron had chimed in that like one of us had said, we're like people were talking about it. I'm like, I've only beaten it a couple times. And Cameron was like, all I do is beat this game. Just can't make a bad deck. I got a lot to learn. I think if I'm going to do well in endless mode is what I'm getting at. But yeah, Mullet Madjack, pretty good. I like that one a lot. Super stylized. Really, really appreciated it. It was just like, it was corny fun. The end of it's pretty fun. I found it pretty charming.
Nice.
Do you want to take the ball for a second? Talk about some of the games that you've played this year and kind of how you're feeling about them now?
Yeah. So some of the games that I just haven't been talking about as much on the pod, but I've still been just kind of going in and out of kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah. Or anything that like maybe you've beaten something and you've had some time to reflect on like, how you felt about it or how it landed for you a couple months afterwards.
Okay.
I see this section as GOTY flirting. Like, if we did GOTY tomorrow, like you'd be like, oh, I remember you from this episode.
So we're okay. We're flirting with these games. We're like, hey,
I think so.
You're cute. Yeah. You're cute.
Kind of like I saw you from across the video game bar and I liked your vibe.
I liked your vibe. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I liked your vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very fun game. A unique experience for gaming nowadays. First person adventure game. I think that this is one of those rare games that just is solid all the way through. I didn't really feel like there were some dips in like when they tried to do a little bit more actiony, but those weren't long sections of the game. They were like little sequences, I would say. They weren't like full levels, and it wasn't like they were trying to really shake up how they played the game. They were just giving you something to kind of break up different sections and areas, and they kind of felt more like they were narrative vehicles to take you to a different area than they were trying to really do something different with the gameplay. I thought the game was very well made. Very impressed with it. Good puzzles. Fun ending. I really enjoyed the ending. Everyone loves a good boat, and they have a good boat in this ending. And I think it sets up nicely for a more thorough examination of Indiana Jones as a character in the next game potentially if they do a sequel. But I feel like this game was pretty popular, so I'd be surprised if they didn't. Yeah. Or at least think about doing a sequel. So I'm almost more excited for that in a way, because they just flirt with it so bad in this game of like, who is Indiana Jones? What makes
if he
him
was self-aware?
What if he was self-aware? I think it would be treading on a lot of the same ground that Uncharted 4 treads on with Nathan Drake. Yeah. But I think in a different, interesting way, because it's going to be like a boomer character that we're deconstructing here, which I think will be fun. Time. Yeah. No, the game was really fun, and I still think about it fondly. Mostly, I still am left with the fun dungeon areas, especially Egypt. The Egypt area was very cool, and the airboat in Thailand was also very cool. Just getting around that area. Yeah, really enjoyed this game.
Yeah, totally.
I have still been playing off and on Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. I'm having a weird experience with this game. Not in that it's a bad game or even like an exceptional game. It's just like this game where I won't play it for like a month, and then there should be one random day where I play it for like 8 hours. It just, it's weird in that it grabs me and won't let go, but then I don't feel the need to like go back into it for an extended period of time. Like there's other games that I have on my backlog right now that kind of grab me quicker. Yeah. And I think that Night City in this game is just so massive that there's just an overwhelming amount of things to do. And so what I've just been doing is just going through all the side quests and just doing those and just kind of ignoring the main thrust of the game right now. Yeah. Because it just seems almost too intimidating to go back into the main storyline, as opposed to just doing these little vignettes on the side, which are bite-sized, and I can just chew one up, spit it out, get something out of it, and then go into the next one. And that's a very enjoyable way to play the game, and more digestible way for me to enjoy this game just with my current number of games that I have on my backlog and the amount of time that I have to spare right now. So yeah, it's just a very like I don't think I've ever really played another video game like this before, where I feel like I've been playing this game off and on for like a year or two now. Yeah. Maybe the closest thing is The Witcher 3, The Witcher 3, but there was a certain point where that game, it just reached a critical mass and it was the only thing I played for like a couple months. Pretty straight. Yeah, but still a very fun game. Enjoying it. It's very cool to just do a cool wheelie off of like a bridge in Night City and just feel like a badass, or to get like some cool new threads and just really redo your character and then make them look cool again in the way that you want them to be, or respec everything to just try out a different skill tree, which is awesome that they let you do that in this game. It really makes it feel on brand for the customizable cybernetic world that they have crafted by being able to, just tailor make yourself however you want, however many times you want. So yeah, still very much enjoying this game off and on.
Yeah, it is one that benefits from playing in kind of big chunks like that.
Yeah.
I also found myself like, I'll play for an hour and be like, I don't know if that was enough. Like, I would like to do a little bit more of the video game to really feel like I got like a sizable experience of the video game played.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to take big chunks, but then you need a lot of time to digest it in between.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got a few more.
Let's hear it.
I've still been playing just an unreasonable amount of Fortnite. I'm like very back in Fortnite right now.
You're game of the year flirting with Fortnite right now.
I'm definitely not going to put this on a GOTY list, but I'm enjoying my time with Fortnite again. I'm having a great time here. They're just about to finish up their Star Wars season, and that was pretty good, all things considered. I think there was some fun stuff they did. It started to feel a little routine with like the quest that you were given. I'm a big quest grinder in Fortnite usually. Like, I love to do the quests. Surprise. Yeah, shocker. I think it just like, it makes it feel like even if I'm not getting a number one victory royale, like I still had a good time in there. I did something, And yeah, so I love the quest, but a lot of the times the Star Wars quests are just like, they'll give you a random one and they're all kind of the same thing of like, land at the Resistance base and get shields or whatever, like it's not actually that interesting. It's just sort of one that they spit out at you. And so that became a little bit tiresome, but all in all, I think a pretty fun season. I like all the guns, the lightsabers are cool. That's always good. Yeah. You like essentially somewhere on the map will be these little like holograms that show up and it's like a Jedi or a Sith master. And then if you talk to them, they're like, all right, come on in my little rift. And then you come back out with like a lightsaber and some force powers, which is cool. Like it's neat. I was a little bit bummed out about how they rolled out Darth Jar Jar. Sorry.
They have a Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah, they have a Darth Jar Jar skin in this one, and like you had to grind to even get the possibility to buy it. Not even
to get the possibility to buy it, you had to grind.
Yeah, you don't just unlock it. You have to like unlock the ability to purchase it.
What world is this?
It's not great. I don't like that at all. But I mean, it's a cool skin, so I understand why they want to like make it real special. But even still, I'm like, come on, man, like just let the people have it.
Yeah.
So got a couple victory royales. I'm not that good at Fortnite, so it's still pretty rare whenever I will get one of those. Always real satisfying when it happens though. Just nothing feels better.
Yeah. It's a rare achievement for a gamer our age.
Yeah, for real. I have noticed that I really try to favor the element of surprise whenever I'm fighting other people in Fortnite. Because if it's just like you and me toe to toe, we see each other and we're shooting at each other, I'm probably not going to win that. It's pretty rare that I take that one. And so I really have to rely on my ability to like outmaneuver or like outthink the other player.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of people play really aggressive. Like they will see you and like just run directly at you or like throw a bomb to like bounce themselves over into your vicinity. And so if you can kind of use that to your advantage, it does work every now and then to like just make them, essentially out aggress themselves. But it's not easy to do that. And like pretty often I still just get clapped, somebody will just run up on me in a way that I'm not expecting. I'm like, wow, that was quick. It just totally died. But Yeah, I just can't rely on the reflexes quite as much as I could at some point.
But still, sometimes Sabrina Carpenter hits the gritty and it feels good.
I'll send you a clip after this of me doing exactly that a few days ago. Got a Victoria Royale, immediately hit the gritty.
Do other people get to see you doing the gritty?
The person who you beat, their like camera zooms in on you afterwards.
Brutal.
It's pretty brutal. It's a little rough.
Dancing on their grave.
Exactly. So yeah, that's Fortnite right now. I am sure nice. I will fall off one of these seasons, but who knows? Who knows when that might be?
Okay, nice.
In fact, you know what? I might know. It's probably going to align with the birth of my daughter. That will probably significantly reduce the amount of Fortnite I can play.
How do you? I mean, I feel like the Switch 2 is going to be a pretty sweet Fortnite machine.
That is true. I think the Switch 2 is going to be a miraculous gift to early fatherhood because I can take it in there and play while she's sleeping.
Hit the gritty as Sabrina Carpenter while your child is sleeping on your chest.
I'll hit the gritty with my baby on my chest and the baby Bjorn. We both hit the gritty. This is
double grit.
Forget the father-son Kamehameha. This is the father-son gritty. We both hit it.
The earth just crumbles.
Goodness. Damn. The last game I wanted to bring up is that I am still playing through Trails in the Sky.
Okay.
That RPG I'd brought up a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing along still with the Legends of Podcasts podcast show about Trails in the Sky. And so that's been a joy to kind of just check in with the game and then check in with them, see where they're at. Mostly keeping up still. So that's a miracle for me personally.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I enjoy Trails. It really, I think I said this when we talked about the first time, but like it does feel kind of in the same ethos as a Yakuza game where it's like it feels like the important things are not the big story all the time. It's a lot more like you're talking to characters that you see regularly and you care about and you kind of get to see like who they are. And I will say the two main characters, Estelle and Joshua, are like, they're cool. Like some of the writing every now and then can teeter on tropey and like, you know, just kind of routine. But I think that the relationship that the two of them have is actually pretty interesting and feels genuine to me in a way that like, it's like, I haven't really seen this exact thing before.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool. So I like that one a lot. And yeah, it's a good RPG, just like Mommy used to make them, dude. Like, it's good shit. I am excited to check out the other entries in this series. Like, I kind of want to see where it goes. From what I understand, there are 2 more entries in like this line of games directly. Like, I can't remember if it's called Trails like Second or SC or something like that, or Trails Third, or whatever the third one is. But my understanding so far is that they orbit kind of a similar timeline. Like they pick up pretty quickly after another one.
Sure.
I haven't really looked that much up because I really don't want to spoil it. Like I know so little about this series that it's kind of fun to just be like, I have seen people co-sign that this is good and I'm just going to go in fairly blind. But that said, I do know that outside of those games, the rest of the series is like pretty different, all things considered. Like the graphical styles are different and like they take place in different times, so far as I understand. Don't correct me if I'm wrong because I don't want to know. But yeah, I'm just excited to kind of be on the first step of this journey with this RPG.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's a game that I'm glad to have been informed of because it's been around for a little while and I just hadn't really dug into it that much.
Yeah. I don't know if I've had that experience with a game series before, but I've had that experience with like a band before.
For sure.
Where, I like this band and they have like 8 albums that I now get to explore and experience. And it just feels like, wow, I've really unearthed something magical here.
Yeah. It's like, they've been around since 2002. How did I miss this?
Exactly. You know? Right. Where have I been? Yeah.
Yeah.
So many good things to experience.
Yeah. I think you're right. I feel like I have that experience a lot more with like movies and like you said, music is definitely one of them where like, you know, somebody will recommend, have you seen this? And it's like, no, maybe I've heard of that, but I don't exactly know that you really got to check it out. And then suddenly it's like, holy shit, I can't believe I just never checked this out before.
Yeah.
It's great. It's always a fun experience.
Sure is.
Do you have anything else that you want to do a mid-year check-in, a little GOTY flirt with?
Yeah, I do. 1,000 Times Resist. Wow.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Wow. Still think about that game quite a bit.
Yeah.
Great story, just regardless of any medium, a fantastic story.
Yeah.
And fantastic storytelling. One of the more memorable experiences in a game I've maybe ever had. Just the whole entire experience of it was exceptional. So yeah, 1,000 Times Resist. Definitely a big wink from me in the corner of the bar towards 1,000 Times Resist.
Yeah. Really.
A very respectful wink, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
A respectful wink.
It's modest. They catch the vibe, but they understand like this is a safe wink. I'm not trying to be weird about it.
Yeah,
but
I'm not trying to be weird
interested.
about it. I'm letting my intentions be known.
Yeah.
Yes.
A modest wink.
They call me the modest winker.
Ew. I don't know. Sorry, that just came out. I don't know what.
No, that's exactly the reaction I had internally, which is why I said the term modest winker.
Yeah. It sucked. It sounds I didn't
like
mean for it to come out quite as hard.
No, you're totally okay doing that.
Yeah.
It feels like the sister restaurant of the Winking Skeever.
Yes, absolutely.
The modest
Famously,
winker.
a bar in Whiterun? No, it's in like the capital, right?
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
It's
Winking
in the
Skeever.
Yeah, it's in the city in Skyrim that's like built on like the cliff.
Oh, sure. I don't think that's not Whiterun. That Whiterun's the place you go to in
like
the beginning. First
one.
With Jarl, the bro Jarl.
Ulfric? Solitude. Solitude is the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
The Winking Skeever's in Solitude.
It is, yeah.
Okay, the Modest Winker is their sister establishment in Whiterun then. It's more of like a cocktail bar as opposed to the Winking Skeever's a dive for sure.
I would feel like it's in Riften if I'm keeping it real.
Okay, which one's Riften?
Riften is the one that's like in the southeast of Skyrim. Okay. It's like the one where the Thieves Guild is.
Oh, the Modest
It's like kind of built on the water a little bit.
I could see it. Yeah.
It's nasty. Riften,
there's a secret entrance to like the Thieves Guild's fence down there at the Modest Winker.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, 1,000 Times Resist. Great game. Loved it. Mm-hmm. Special experience throughout any type of media. Yeah. Last game, real quick.
Sure.
Persona 3 Reloaded. I am still playing this game. I don't talk about it as much because sometimes I don't have a lot to say about it, but I'm just going through Tartarus still. I'm doing my finals. I am living the Japanese high schooler life in the same year that I graduated high school. So it's kind of a strange experience. Very strange, yeah. But yeah, I'm still very much enjoying the game. It's not grabbing me quite as much as Metaphor did. I think that a lot of that just has to do with setting. Like I'm just such a sucker for swords and fantasy. That it's hard to compete with that. But I'm learning to really enjoy the high school setting of this game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah. Love that. Mm-hmm. Is that all? Is that all the games?
Shout out to Returnal. I fell off of it because oftentimes I feel like I'm just too tired and my reaction speed is too slow to really put in a good effort, a good run into that game. But man, does that game hit like crack when you start doing well at it. It is pure adrenaline. It's very fun. And it makes me excited for the spiritual successor that this same studio is cooking up.
Yeah, I'm also really interested in that one. I liked Returnal quite a bit. I think it was a pretty good game.
I also very much like this game. I just wish that I had more energy to play it.
Yes. This was it's
just like a weekend game for me. This is not a weekday game for me. That makes sense.
You do need energy to play it. Like it really demands a lot.
Returnal is a weekend game. Cuphead, Cyberpunk. Big weekend game. Yeah, Cyberpunk, big weekend game. Not necessarily for the same reason as those two, because those two just require a lot of mental power while I'm playing them. Cyberpunk just needs time, which I don't have during the week. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'm with you.
Hell yeah. That's it.
Shout
That's all Returnal. I got. Shout out Returnal. Yeah.
Then with that, let's outro this podcast.
Let's do it.
Thank you for listening to this one. This sort of bookended by two strange segments. Not strange, unexpected.
Yeah, I was about to say, nothing strange about them. Just different.
Just different, yeah. Thank you, Brendon Bigley, for crashing our recording episode. That's fun.
Surprise you.
Yeah. That's always my dream with us being in this call that like, I hope somebody just comes on in, crashes it, because that's fun. That's funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thank you for listening to this. We'll keep it brief, but if you want to talk to us, chat with us, check out the games we've played, suggest a game for us to play, you can do it at podtimism.com. It's got a link to Discord that we're a part of and the network that we're a part of. Both the same thing. We're a part of the TWG network. There's a bunch of other podcasts there, and they're all great, in my personal opinion. You got your Can't Let It Goes, your Dot Zips, Frog of the Weeks, your Girl Modes, your Into the Aethers, your Paws and Claws, and the like. So give them a look. They're all great and they're all fun. Yeah, fuck it. That's it this week. No call to action, no nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. That's it. Thank you for listening to this one. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Do you have any gaming wisdom for me, David?
Yeah. If you have the chance to go to a midnight release for a video game console, you do it.
Man, I'm looking down the barrel right now and it's 9:45 and I'm like, man, I am EP.
They probably already there.
Oh, they're definitely already there. But the thing is, I got 2.5 more hours before I'm even getting this thing in my hands.
It's just chug a yerb.
Oh man, chugging a yerb would destroy me. I have to be so careful with my fucking caffeine consumption these days. Like, I have a little bit of caffeine at the wrong time of the day and my whole shit's fucked up. On Sunday, I drank cold brew for the first time in a while. Like, I just don't drink coffee. I drink tea, the yerba mates. Something about coffee versus tea, it like gets to me different. Like I can have a whole can of yerba and be like, I am wired on caffeine and like maybe not in a great way, but I don't feel horrible.
Yeah.
Something about coffee, man. It just gets my system all freaked out. So I had a 16
It takes you to the freak floor?
It takes me to the freak floor for sure. It's the freak floor occupation, me, just me.
It's just all you, and you're taking up the whole floor.
The whole dance floor, yeah, the whole thing. I'm making a meal out of this.
It's really freaking out there.
I drank a 16-ounce cold brew and then had a Dr. Pepper at like 2 or 3, which does have caffeine in it as well. And like by 5 or 6, I was in a bad spot. Also forgot to eat lunch. Fucking amateur
oh my
hour
God.
over here.
Like a bad spot, how so? Like you're just feeling ill?
Just like anxious. I was nauseous. I was like, oh man, what is going on? I was convinced my wife was going into labor that very moment.
Oh.
Because, and I'll give you the list here. She was cleaning the house. And I was like, nesting is one of the things that people do before they go into labor. And she's like, my mom is coming next weekend. I'm just cleaning so my mom doesn't like give me a hard time about the dust.
Yeah.
And I was like, or you're currently in labor and this is it right now. We're going in. She was not in labor, everyone.
Have you ever had so much caffeine that you thought your wife was going into labor?
I did on Sunday. It was too much. I had way too much caffeine. And then it was like a light turning off. I had my good friend Chipotle, got a burrito bowl, ate the whole damn thing, and was like, I feel so much better. Like had a meal, drank some water. The next day I was like, why? Oh my God, I feel great today. And it was just because I felt so bad the day prior that I was like, oh yeah, this is what not drinking too much caffeine will do to a man.
Let that be a lesson to all of you listening right now.
Just don't chug a yerb at 10 p.m. Like maybe either you just go to the midnight launch and you are tired, or you just don't go. We're all adults here.
Or
we can handle our shit.
You chug a yerb, but also get a Chipotle burrito to fight off the yerb. Yeah,
or just like don't have the cataclysmic anxious cocktail that I did of too much coffee, more caffeine, no lunch, too many anxious thoughts, couldn't break out of the cycle, and then was like, why do I feel so bad?
Take care of yourselves, everybody. Practice just some self-care.
Drink a glass of water, for God's sakes. Yeah. Sometimes I have to remind myself the most basic shit.
Water and a little snack does you good.
I like literally there are some days where I'm like, I truly need to go touch grass right now. Like it's so nice outside. I must go touch grass. And I usually feel much better about whatever the problem that's
made to be outside.
It's true. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you next week, gamers.
Yeah. See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
TWG, the worst garbage, the online